Well, my dear ones, we've come to the discussion of Igor Chaplin's book, The Five Love Languages. I can say right away that I really like the book and it's extremely easy to read. Please write in the comments if you've read it and what impressions you had from it, how satisfied you were with the reading, whether you found answers to your questions, and if you agree with his concept. Because most of the time we were trying to find out what other love languages there are. By the way, someone wrote about an interesting love language. When a man takes pictures of me, I understand that he loves me. For me, that's my love language. I completely agree with that. And the only thing I can say is that most likely it's more like little subgroups. Because there are cases when a man not only confesses his love to you, but he constantly offers you words of affirmation. Someone wrote to me about this love language. And basically, this taking pictures is actually a confirmation that I love you. Look, I pay attention to you, I support you, you're the most beautiful, the smartest, I run after you like a paparazzi and I give you that. This is actually proof that I support you. So basically, if we look at all 5 of his love languages that he wrote about, and the book is a bestseller, it's been translated into 52 languages, I think, all over the world and has been widely published. Then we'll see that what we came up with is nothing more than a subgroup of what he sort of described and talked about. In general, without a doubt, Gary Chapman is an incredibly observant person, even though he is not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist, not a psychotherapist, but just... And here he really reminds me of Arestovich. Of course, I don't really like that. I know that from my critical remarks about him. He's also a pastor. He's just like Arestovich, honestly. He's a pastor, a philosopher, an anthropologist, an art historian, and someone else, and someone else. And suddenly he decided that he would be a family counselor, which, by the way, I studied for 7 years, even more, at university. So the question is, why do I have to train to become a psychologist for 7 years? 7 years at university, 2.5 years in graduate school, and a crazy number of different institutes, integrative psychotherapy, and so on. 2.5 years at the Institute of Integrative Psychotherapy. Why did I have to study to become a psychologist for 20 years? And he's just an anthropologist, a philosopher, a pastor, an art historian. And suddenly he decided he wanted to be a family counselor. And there are plenty of people like that in my field, so to speak, who suddenly decided they would be psychologists too. Of course, it's incredibly annoying and infuriating. You feel this kind of injustice, that you've dedicated your whole life to psychology and then someone suddenly intrudes into it. You know, like, I don't want to swear, but I want to say who this guy even is, suddenly getting worldwide fame. Can we say it's deserved or not deserved? Well, on the one hand, it's deserved because we, well, liked it overall, to be honest. We liked his book. It's mostly a practical tool and we agree with that. We share this idea and it really helps. It really helps in life. And I didn't just give you these wonderful exercises for no reason. We discussed 5 exercises this week, right? From the book, from his 5 love languages. And every day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you received 1 exercise each day because it's very, very effective and it really works well in practice. I'll criticize a little more and then I'll start praising. Well, do you agree with me that when a person spreads themselves too thin, it's like they're just skimming the surface? I'm a little bit of a pastor, a little bit of an art historian, a little bit of a philosopher, a little bit of an anthropologist, a little bit here, a little bit there. So this actually shows that the person doesn't have deep knowledge. And by the way, you can really feel this when you're reading a book, that there is no solid foundation in psychology. It's just not there. You can sense that, after all, the book is written in a way by an amateur who is only superficially familiar with topics like psychology and psychotherapy. Very much so, yes. But at the same time, why not? I mean, overall, the person has their own life experience. Moreover, since he's a pastor, he's heard a lot of different life stories and can draw his own conclusions. Well, okay, we'll allow it. Even if it annoys us, especially the psychologists, psychiatrists, and psychotherapists in our group who've devoted their lives to this. Of course, it's a bit unpleasant for us when people like that get involved. And they can do anything and they seem to get away with everything, so why do they become global stars? That's it. It's a bit unfair. All right, never mind, let's go.